The plant pictured here is a species within the genus Hibiscus. We're going to talk about two particular species of hibiscus, Hibiscus syriacus, which is cold hardy to zone 5, and Hibiscus rosa-sinensis, which is only cold hardy to zone 11, so it's often used as an interior plant. Hibiscus syriacus is a deciduous shrub, and here you can see what the leaves look like. They're a dark, glossy green. They are typically 3-lobed, although that's variable, and they have large dentate teeth on the leaf margin. In addition, Hibiscus syriacus, and in fact all the species of hibiscus, have palmate venation, which is quite a unique trait. All of the major veins are going to come from the same point, which is right at the tip of the petiole. Here we can see the underside of the leaves of Hibiscus syriacus, as well as some of the variation present in leaf shape. So both of these leaves have a pale, almost glaucous leaf underside, and you can see all the network of minor veins quite clearly, so we call that reticulate. However, if you look at the leaf here on the left, those 3 lobes are quite prominent. If you look at the leaf on the right, it's not really 3-lobed at all. However, it still does maintain those dentate teeth on the leaf margin. And again, if you look at the tip of the petiole, you'll see where all of the major veins originate from that one point. So you still have that palmate leaf venation. Here are the leaves of Hibiscus rosa-sinensis. Again, a dark, glossy green leaf, even glossier than the leaves of Hibiscus syriacus. But you'll find the same dentate teeth on the leaf margin, and again, that palmate leaf venation, a very distinctive trait. They can have a very acuminate leaf apex, as shown here. Or, again, we see some variability in the leaf shape. This is a much more rounded leaf with a very rounded leaf apex. Even the teeth on the margin are more crenate than dentate, but again, we retain that glossy green color and the palmate leaf venation. The leaf underside for Hibiscus rosa-sinensis is still reticulate, but it's not as glaucous or as pale as the underside of the leaves of Hibiscus syriacus. Now, in regard to flowers, all of our hibiscus species are going to have a very unique looking calyx. If you look at the calyces on these flowers, you'll see that they have many subulate lobes. So there's several narrow green lobes coming up from under the flower bud. It almost looks like a green spider curled around that flower bud, and that's very typical of hibiscus. For Hibiscus syriacus, the flowers tend to be in the anthocyanin pigment, so purples, blues, purplish pinks as shown here. The flowers can be double as shown here, or you can have single flowers as shown in that white flower on the left here. So that's a single white flowered cultivar. On the right we have a doubled pink flowered cultivar with variegated leaves, but both hibiscus, and you can see those leaves have the typical palmate venation. In addition, if you look at this picture on the left of the white flower, you can see a very unique reproductive structure in the center that's typical of hibiscus species, and it's called an androgynophore. Basically, we have the pistils and stamens fused together in this one reproductive structure. And you can see that structure even clearer here in this picture of Hibiscus rosa-sinensis. Now, Hibiscus rosa-sinensis typically has flowers more in the carotenoid pigments, so reds, oranges, yellows, and your more reddish pink colors. So here you can clearly see we have a pistil with fused carpels. It has multiple stigmas there at the tip, and then it's surrounded almost by a tube of fused filaments from the stamens. So those filaments are fused to the style of the pistil, so it's all one structure with those anthers sticking out near the tip just below the stigmas. Just like Hibiscus syriacus, there are double-flowered cultivars of Hibiscus rosa-sinensis, and so you can see that here. Our androgynophore there in the center is not quite as prominent because a lot of the stamens have become petaloid. That's how we get a double flower. So you can't see it as clearly, but it is still there. Now, because Hibiscus rosa-sinensis has such lovely flowers, I've just thrown in a couple extra pictures for you to ooh and ah over. Ooh. Ah. Ooh. And there you have it. That concludes our discussion of the genus Hibiscus.